The boy in front of him repeated the same thing every day. He would pull the dragon horns from his head. He had to endure the pain in order to save himself. The reason for this was to stop the noise emitted by the dragon horns, which tormented him endlessly. At first, his grandmother kept this secret, afraid to let the villagers know that her grandson had such a strange illness. But gradually, other villagers began to lose their hearing, and she realized the severity of the situation. As the village chief, she could only go out and search for a doctor. Eventually, she found the insect master, Ginkgo, to help. In Ginkgo's view, the problem was certainly related to the ears. If he carefully examined the ears, he would be able to find the insect that was damaging their hearing. When Ginkgo saw the green liquid in the boy's ear, he immediately understood what was happening. The villagers' sounds were being eaten by an insect called Han. This insect resembled a snail and liked to hide in dark places. As soon as it found an ear that could hear properly, it would shed its shell and parasitize the ear, slowly eating away at the person's hearing. Ginkgo instructed the villagers to boil some water, then add a special kind of edible salt, and drop the salt water into their ears. After waiting a while, the insects would crawl out of their ears on their own. By using Ginkgo's method, the villagers' hearing gradually returned. However, the strange thing was, the boy in front of him couldn't recover. His grandmother was extremely worried about her grandson. Reluctantly, she told Ginkgo everything about the boy's condition. The boy was the most severely infected. His symptoms were completely different from the others. The boy could hear all the sounds around him, even more clearly than an ordinary person. No matter where he was, he could hear even the sound of raindrops with perfect clarity. He hadn't had a proper night's sleep in 3 months. Ginkgo carefully examined the boy's body and discovered that he was parasitized by a mutated insect. This mutated insect had the opposite effect of regular insects. It collected all the sounds it could hear. According to Ginkgo's current knowledge, there was no way to kill this mutated insect. This insect wasn't afraid of Ginkgo's saltwater, and previous insect masters had tried various methods, but were never able to drive it away. In the end, they could only watch as the patient was tortured and slowly succumbed to madness and death. Now, this dilemma was in front of Ginkgo, and he didn't want to give up on this boy. He couldn't just watch the child die. He lit the insect smoke he had brought, but it didn't have much effect. It only slightly alleviated the symptoms. The boy then told Ginkgo that he wasn't the first person to have this illness. The last person was his mother. He even remembered what his mother said to him at the end, but she covered his ears, and after that, he completely forgot what she said. From that point on, he became just like his mother, parasitized by this mutated insect. Ginkgo still couldn't find the reason behind it. He kept thinking, why did the mother try to tell the boy the secret, but still cover his ears? Then, something strange happened. The boy, who was usually obedient, sneaked out today. Ginkgo didn't stop him, but followed him to see where he was going. It was still snowing in the sky, and there was no sound to be heard. The boy hid in a cave, and slowly, the sound of the fire disappeared as well. At that moment, Ginkgo finally realized how to save the boy. The next second, the insects in the cave flew out. Ginkgo wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he looked for the most special insect, and allowed it to parasitize him. This was part of Ginkgo's method to save the boy. Ginkgo asked the boy to cover his own ears, and the boy gently touched Ginkgo's ears. Then, the insect in Ginkgo's ear disappeared. Simply covering the ears wouldn't make one unable to hear, but the insects were afraid of other creatures getting close. In fact, the boy's mother knew this too.